Now, I read in the paper that the county board said that Lancaster Manor was unusual in being a county home or publicly owned facility. Can you speak to that?
Well, they are mistaken in saying that. You can go to the same Medicare website that Marlene spoke about earlier, medicare.gov, and you can find out what type of ownership these facilities have. And there, from my own research, I found anywhere between 15 and 17 county or city-owned facilities in the state of Nebraska.
So even in the state of Nebraska alone, Lancaster Manor is not unusual. It's part of the mix of what we have for older adults to be able to access for services. Now, another thing I keep hearing a lot in the media, it seems like everywhere, the county board keeps talking about the financial situation for the Lancaster Manor. Can anyone speak to what your view and your take of the financial situation is?
Well, I guess I can speak to the finances.
Okay.
I feel that the county board has put out a position that is not true as to what the finances are of Lancaster Manor. Anyone can access the Lancaster County website at lancaster.ne.gov, and you can see their audits for fiscal year 2007 and 2008. And both of those audits show that Lancaster Manor had a positive balance at the end of those years. And also information that has been released by their budget and fiscal director says that for the end of this fiscal year, Lancaster Manor had between $400,000 and $500,000 in their fund balance.
So, and then I think I read recently that the manor actually paid off some bonds early. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, and in actuality, you're paying off bonds early. It's making a profit. Does the Lancaster Manor cost the taxpayers of Lancaster County any money?
No.
Has it ever?
No.
No.
It's never cost the county board or the taxpayers a dime.
Never has.
Is it projected to in the near future?
It's proposed.
It's proposed to go in.
That's the newest, one of the newest things that the county commissioners have thrown out is putting a tax hike out there.
Why?
We don't know.
You don't know.
You have a projected revenue of around $17 million without having the figures right in front of me. Not able to answer that specifically, which is almost $4 million less than what we made last year. And you have an exorbitant amount of expenditures that are in the budget that need to be taken a look at.
That are maybe unnecessary?
There was a wish list that was that the directors of the facility were asked to make, and those items, I believe, are in that.
Okay, so they're inflating costs to make it look like there's a deficit. And
at this point now, that wish list, that how much was it? There was a $3.5 million deficit, and the wish list was now removed from that budget. So, I mean, that took it down quite a bit, along with looking at possible layoffs and the renewal and replacement fund playing a role in it that way too, and using that money.
Now, Lancaster Manor can serve how many residents?
291.
291. And your census currently is?
As of July 30th, it was 243.
And so you've had, I've heard tell, a decrease in the census. It's kind of been going down. Can you speak to the reasons why you think that's occurring right now?
Well, I think that the census has been declining because the community does not have confidence in what direction the county board is going with Lancaster Manor. And they're afraid of what's going to happen to their loved ones if they are put in the facility at this time.
Let's say your census went up and you were 85% full. Would you need to have any help from the taxpayers?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so.
You don't believe so. So if the county board would say, we're not going to go and sell the manor, it's going to stay as is, then your census likely would go up, and then there would be no budget crisis. Is that correct?
I believe so. With what we, as a facility, have learned about billing practices and revenue collection this past year, I believe that there would be no need for any property tax use to fund Lancaster Manor.
Okay.
And prior to this information coming out into the public, our census was in the 270s before they started to proceed with the sale of Lancaster Manor.
So you were able to keep up your census then? Well, I think that is, okay, I'm sorry. This is really interesting to me that your census was not a problem until the county board started to go and make a lot of noise about selling it. Now, back in, was it November, your qualified licensed administrator left suddenly, is that correct?
Yes.
What kind of management have you had since?
Right now, we have Gwen Thorpe, who is an interim. She is on her second 6-month term, which expires in November. And at that point, they will have to look at replacing her with somebody qualified, which we hope is going to be a new administrator, keep things going the way they should be going. As far as the working conditions, I mean, this whole thing has taken its toll on the whole group of people. And I'm going to speak for Marlene and Tina, and I think the whole collective of people that work there. There's been great turnover. There's been people leaving because they don't know any more than the residents do, and they want to secure their families. But as all of this still happens and all this turmoil happens, the people that work there still continue to give those residents and the people that they love dearly the quality of care and meet their needs to the best of their abilities, and they still maintain that no matter what extra load they may have to take on. So as far as management, I mean, at least the management teams that I've worked with, these guys do a wonderful job of keeping after it. We'd just like to see maybe some of the more upper management take that same step.
Okay.